Hi everyone, hope this finds you well. It's Sunday afternoon, work week's about to start, so the topic at hand is very fitting. I'll jump right into it because I'm trying to get these videos down a little bit in time. Alright, so the conversation I had with somebody this week, actually just today, was about their job and that someone at their work had pulled something really bad. It was a betrayal of sorts, and he was mad and he was hurt. You know, he didn't expect this to happen. And so he's just having reactions about it all over the place. And he's just internalizing it and, just gnawing on it. And it's affecting like every part of his life. And his wife's like, really? And I'm thinking, A, this is nothing that we don't all do. But how interesting it was that we don't realize that we can have that kind of effect on other people, right? It's just us. We're the only ones who get triggered and get pissed off or get hurt. We all affect each other. And what I picture is, those little cages that the bingo balls are in, and the guy stands up there and he's turning the little crank, and then he reaches in and he pulls out a ball and he says the number, and I'm thinking, you know what, that's us. We're those little balls inside of this cage, and God or the universe or whoever is turning the little crank, and we're all in there, and we're just all bouncing off of each other all the time. We're constantly bumping up against each other energetically, emotionally, psychologically, and yes, physically as well, but not in that fun way. And we're triggering each other. But we forget that we ourselves are participating in this, right? It's that co-creating thing. We're not just these hapless little victims that are constantly the ones having the reactions. We cause reactions in other people. We trigger other people. We cause memories in other people to come up. I have a good story around this. I think it's a really good example of how we lose sight of this. I run support groups, and in one of my groups, I had a grandmother, a great-grandmother. She's in her 70s, and she's raising a 9-year-old child and his siblings who were taken away from their mother, drug use, the father's MIA. It's the worst story you can imagine. So this poor woman and her husband are trying to raise these kids, and they're very damaged and they're very angry. And she's telling me about these exchanges she has with the 9-year-old boy. He's the oldest, and he's the most angry because he's known the most and he's seen the most. And she starts crying, and she's telling me about how he screams at her. He knows every profanity. He can channel the anger of like a 20-year-old, man on a bad trip. He's hateful. He's just vicious when he really gets going. And she's talking about this, and I understand why she's upset, and I can see why she's crying. She's trying to connect with this kid, and it's not happening. But there was something else at play, and I couldn't quite figure out what the feeling was. But I just asked her, I said, what is this about? You're so upset. It just feels like there's something else. And she gets real quiet and she says, 30 or so years ago, I was in a relationship with a man who spoke to me exactly like this boy does. My grandson just reminds me immediately of this abusive relationship I was in. It was wonderful she brought it up. We got some things settled. She left way more prepared to handle the next time this happened. But the takeaway really is everybody's focusing on how this boy is reacting to his environment and to what's happened to him, and the focus is all on the kids, which is absolutely appropriate. But what about the grandma, who's a player in this? He's affecting her in a deep way. She's having a very visceral reaction to this child and the memories that he's evoking by just being. He's just being himself. He's just showing up. And he is bringing this forward for her, something she thought was long gone, long buried. What a beautiful example of how we affect each other. It doesn't matter age, time, place, context. We're just going through life, right? Minding our business, trying to protect ourselves and, just live and try to be happy and all that. And then we get all really jacked up when somebody triggers us in some way. Again, forgetting that we've probably triggered them. It's a give and take. It's not even about trying to fix it. It's not about even empathy at this point. It's kind of the level before empathy is awareness. Just the awareness and the ownership that we go into the world just as liable to affect someone, cause a reaction in someone, bad or good, as they are in us. Just awareness. And if you take that down narrower to your own life, it's a really good exercise to look at yourself and to look at the other people in your life one at a time and figure out very honestly, what do I bring to them? What reactions do I cause in them? What emotional, psychological reactions might I bring out in them? What do they really bring out in me? What are the real feelings when we're alone together or having a conversation? And then you move on to the next person and the next person. And again, it's about awareness, because we assume that it's almost like we really under the illusion that the feelings stay the same. That once we meet someone and we have the connection we have, then we don't want to look at it again, right? We just want to stay with that initial thing, whether it's positive or negative. It's important to reevaluate our connections with people, because that's where the authenticity is hiding. You never know what's shifted in each of you and between you. Maybe it's different now. The person who used to delight you and make you swoon with love, now when you're around them, they irritate you, or they just piss you off, or maybe worst of all, they cause no reaction in you at all. That's important to know. It's really important to realize and to own that. But here's why we don't like to do it, because it opens the door to accountability. The minute that we know that we are bringing something to the table, to the relationship, to the place, to the person, that might not be all positive or beneficial, we're going to have to do something about it, right? Because that's just the right thing to do. The minute we admit that the person with us, the job, the place, the whatever, doesn't benefit us anymore, doesn't feel quite right, is causing reactions that aren't healthy or edifying, oh God, we're going to have to do something about that, or live in the lie. So it's about awareness. I think it's a really important thing to look at in a world that is as superficial as it is in many ways, right? If you just put enough filters on the picture, it's all beautiful and awesome. Well, real life doesn't work that way. Energy is real, feelings are real, and they dictate our actions. So let's get clear on how we actually feel about a person and how they might feel about us, whether that's uncomfortable or not. That's a good chore just for the week. I'm going to have to do it too. Again, like I said, we got to do it every so often, like laundry, right? You don't just do laundry once. You got to keep doing it. It's the same with this. Our housekeeping with the people in our lives, and an awareness of how powerful we are in other people's lives. Let's go out there knowing the damage we can do, not just the damage that we think we sustain. All right, good luck with that, and thank you for watching, whether it's your first time or whatever time. Much appreciated. See you next time.